Okay, so it looks like everyone can hear us okay. So we'll begin the Finding and Accessing Data in the UK Data Service webinar. Today's webinar will be about how to find and access data held by the UK Data Service. There will be an introduction on the types of data available via our service and the information on how to use our various search engines as well as other useful tools. In the second part of the webinar, we will look at the dataset and series pages. In the third section, we will look at different ways data can be accessed and we'll touch on different access conditions that exist for our data. Finally, at the end, we will have some time for questions. Should your question not be answered during the presentation, we will be in touch with answers. If you have any questions regarding a specific application or project, there will be slides at the end advising how best to get in touch with us to discuss them. So what is the UK Data Service? The UK Data Service is a comprehensive resource funded by the ESRC, the Economic and Social Research Council. Our primary aim is to provide users with seamless, flexible access to a wide range of data resources in order to facilitate high-quality social and economic research and education. And to do this, we provide a single point of access to a wide range of social science data. In addition to the data, we also provide support, training and guidance in the form of webinars and a range of face-to-face events. We also collaborate across the UK with other organisations and research data experts, such as JISC, the University of Manchester, the University of Leeds, Southampton, Edinburgh, and the University College London. So next we'll discuss sources of our data. So the data we hold come from a variety of sources, and we're allowed to disseminate them under license from the original data creator. Our depositors include national statistics authorities, such as the ONS, UK government departments, such as the Home Office, and intergovernmental organisations, like the International Monetary Fund. We also have data from research institutes, for example, NatCen and ISA and CLS. We also, in addition to this, work with individual researchers. However, it is important to stress that we do not collect the data ourselves. We only curate, preserve, and catalogue the data that is deposited with us. So who is our data for? Who can use our data? Our data is available to academic researchers and students, government analysts, charities and foundations, business consultants, and independent research centres, as well as think tanks. However, individual datasets do have select criteria, and some aren't available for commercial use under their licenses. We hold just over 7,800 datasets of a number of types, and with new datasets being added all of the time. Here, we focus on 4 key types of data. These are our most popular data. Survey microdata, for example, the Understanding Society series or the Quarterly Labour Force Survey series. International macrodata, such as multinational aggregate data banks and survey data. Census data, aggregate data from 1971 to 2011, or microdata from 1981 to 2011. We also hold qualitative and mixed methods data. So before we get stuck into the data types mentioned on the previous slide and how to access them, I'd like to touch on data categorization quickly. There are various ways we categorize data. One of these is by type. Data on persons in the form of surveys, data on places such as census data for small areas or international time series data for countries. Finally, qualitative data and mixed methods data. Another way to categorize is by purpose, research or teaching, perhaps if you're teaching a workshop of students on how to access and analyze data. And finally, we have by details, particular variables or questions in the data. Now on this slide, we have an example of quantitative data. This example has been taken from the Public Attitudes to Animal Research Survey from 2016. This dataset can be found using our data search engines and is available under open data license due to it being less disclosive. You'll notice the banded ages and incomes, and that the government office regions are the lowest geographic unit. So this data isn't considered high risk. Next, we have an example of qualitative data. This example shows the transcript of an interview with Frank Woolley from family life and work experience before 1918, 1870 to 1973, also known as the Edwardians. This particular data is also considered open access, so is available in our QualiBank, which we'll touch on later. Now, we'll move on to finding data. Examples of our key data and how to locate them, data by theme, and how to use our catalogue and other useful resources and tools such as the HASSET and data map. Key data are some of the most commonly used data we hold, divided into the different data types we covered earlier. The key data page can be very useful if you're looking for a particular type of data, but have not yet chosen a topic. The page can be accessed from our website by going to the Get Data button, then selecting the Key Data option from the pop-up menu. When the Key Data page loads, you'll see our different data types listed at the top, and selecting each one of these will load a list of suggested data sets and series underneath. So here in orange, you can see that if I clicked the UK surveys page, you would receive studies such as the British Social Attitudes, Community Life Survey. In red here, if I was to select the cross-national surveys, you would see things such as the European Quality of Life Survey. And finally, for an example, in blue, we have the International Macrodata tab. And that's things such as the IEA coal information surveys. Now, if you have a particular research topic that you're interested in, our theme pages will be the place for you. The theme pages can be accessed in a very similar way to our key data. Again, you select the Get Data button on our homepage, but this time you select the Data by Theme option. There are 14 themes in total, such as aging, environment and energy, health, and politics. And in addition to this, we also have a new COVID-19 theme page. The individual theme pages not only list commonly used data sets on the 14 different topics, but also provide additional information and guidance. There's guidance on how to search for the data and find data on this topic, case study examples of research conducted using our data, and links to external resources for further information. They're a brilliant resource for those of you who know what you want to research, but you don't know where to start. If you don't want to use the search by theme or our key data pages, you can use our data search engine to look for all available data sets. Perhaps the most common way to access data is simply to search using keywords, a study number, or other terms such as the dataset's title. In one form or another, the search function for our catalogue can be found in most pages of the website. You can see on screen now the different appearances it takes on. The search function from our homepage can also be used to search our website by switching search data to search website if you're looking for specific pages that are not a catalogue record. So on this next slide, you can see I've performed a keyword search of employment and unemployment in our catalogue. In the blue box that appears beneath the searcher bar, you can see how many results have been returned, and these are listed below. Off to the left-hand side, you have the option to switch between viewing data sets and viewing data series, as well as filtering your results. The filters on the left-hand side can be used to help find suitable studies by narrowing down your returned results if you're feeling a little overwhelmed. In this clip, you'll see how I can use the filters. I can update the date, for example, to 2010 to 2018. I can select a topic. I can choose my data type and select the access level of the data. And finally, I can select a country. This will help me filter the over 1,000 results I have received down to just 2. And from here, I would select the dataset's title to view their catalogue page. But for now, we'll move on to our next set of search tools, our variable, question, and QualiBanks, and we'll pick up with the catalogue a bit later on in more detail. So another approach you could use is to search for specific phrases used in variable names via our variable and question bank. The variable and question bank can be accessed from the main catalogue search bar. There's an example at the bottom here where you can see the variable and question and QualiBank search selectors. In the example on the right, you'll see what our variable and question bank looks like. And you'll also see that I have searched the term solar power. Now, what's good about the bank is that you may not find data sets that have the term solar power in their titles. However, this option allows you to locate data that contain questions or modules regarding solar energy, thus returning results you may not have considered if you were just scrolling through our regular catalogue and the list of data sets returned. Next up is our QualiBank. This is our data catalogue for qualitative data, and the results returned on QualiBank searches are based on your keywords not only appearing in the data's title or information page, but the contents of the data itself. So if you search poverty as an example, the search will return results where poverty was mentioned as part of an interview, in addition to it possibly being in the title. Like with our other search functions in our data catalogue, QualiBank results can also be filtered via resource type, collection title, and dates, as well as many other options. Like with key data and data by theme, our data map is available from the Get Data tab located across the top banner of our homepage under the Data by Geography section. Here, you can use a world map to find data sets based on their location. So this can be helpful if you're seeking data from a particular area. Once you have zoomed in sufficiently to pinpoint data sets, these will, like with our other tools, contain links to our data catalogue in order for you to explore more about the data and how to access them. Finally, we move to our HASSET Thesaurus. Each data set in our catalogue has keyword terms associated with it that come from the Humanities and Social Science Electronic Thesaurus, also known as our HASSET Thesaurus. You will see an example of these keywords as they appear in our data catalogue records in the bottom frame of this slide. These keywords link to regular searches conducted in our main catalogue, but our HASSET Thesaurus can help you explore topics as it links together keywords and registers them under umbrella terms. For example, you can see on the right-hand side that I have searched poverty in HASSET, and it has provided a link to results returned in our data catalogue. But it has also suggested broader and narrower and related terms that could potentially be worth exploring. And each of these suggested terms will also link back to results within our main catalogue. So you can see here on the right-hand side where it says poverty, it also suggests that you look at maybe a broader term of social disadvantage or a narrower term of child poverty, or perhaps related terms of living conditions, pawn shops, poor persons, or wealthy persons, and each of these links back to the data catalogue. In this next section of the webinar, we will explore our dataset and series records located within our catalogue. So many of our surveys are part of a series. A data series page records groups of the datasets that are involved as part of the series together, so they're easily accessible or identifiable. They also contain other information and resources that are useful for researchers. Here we can see the Understanding Society series page. This is located on the left-hand side as an example. The main page of the series has an abstract providing some details on the surveys, as well as a tab for frequently asked questions, highlighted in blue, and a resources page which provides details of similar studies, case studies, and publications, highlighted in orange. Finally, you'll see the Access Data button highlighted in green. The Access Data tab is where the datasets that are part of a series can be found. The datasets are grouped according to the access conditions. So you'll see there's end user license level data, which is highlighted in orange at the very top. Special license data, which is highlighted in green. And then finally, highlighted in blue, there is secure and safe room data contained within this series. Each dataset's title is hyperlinked to its individual catalogue record. So as an example, I'm going to select study number 6614, located at the top of the end user license level data section. On this slide, you can see the individual dataset catalogue record. You'll notice the dataset title at the top and the study number located in the details section, 6614, as well as other information such as the access level and the principal investigator. In addition to this, there are several other expandable sections that provide further details, such as the abstract and citation and copyright sections. You'll also notice there is a section for the HASSET Thesaurus, keywords mentioned earlier, just above the abstract section. As well as the expandable section on the catalogue record, you will also see there are several tabs located just under the dataset title. The first is the main details page, containing the section we just looked at. The next is the documentation tab that contains data dictionaries to check the data's contents, as well as other resources such as user guides provided by the data owners. Then the resources tab, providing details of similar studies, case studies, and publications created with the individual dataset. Finally, you have the Access button, or the Access Data button, but we'll come back to that shortly as part of how to access the data. In this final section of the webinar, we will learn how to access data, cover access conditions, cover downloading data, and online data access. So throughout this presentation, you would have heard me reference the access level or access conditions of our data. Our data are broken down into 4 overall access levels: reshare data, open data, safeguarded data, and controlled data. Now, reshare data are where depositors have self-deposited data, and the access conditions are described in the catalogue record, as they tend to be non-standard, not conforming to our regular access procedure. Our open data are considered minimal to no disclosure risk and can be accessed without creating a user account, but sometimes require a click-through acknowledgement. Next, we have our safeguarded data. We have 2 different access levels as part of the safeguarded classification. The first of these is end user license. These data contain no direct identifiers, but there is a small disclosure risk through linking the data. So the EUL data, as it's commonly referred to, is protected by the need to hold an account with us, but can be downloaded almost immediately from our online catalogue. Special license data, which is also considered safeguarded data, does require an application form to be completed. Once this is returned to this, we liaise with data owners and ask for permission to release the data, as it contains more detailed information than end user license level. Now, controlled data, like safeguarded data, contains a couple of levels. Secure access level, which can be accessed via our virtual secure lab, but requires an application to be completed, as well as a technical security setup. And safe room data, that contains data so sensitive it can only be accessed from our on-site safe room at the University of Essex. For both of these access levels, researchers are required to demonstrate their trustworthiness around personal data and pass security checks and training. Now, it's also worth noting for this section that due to the COVID-19 pandemic and lockdowns, we have got some alternative access agreements in addition to what you see here for researchers to access data from home. So if you do have any further questions about how this might be possible, or would like to discuss any particular data sets that you would like to access, at the end of this presentation, I can help with some general queries. And if you do have any more detailed questions about particular data sets, you can always write to our help desk and we'll be able to provide further clarification for you. So next, we will look at how you can register for an account with us. There are two ways this can be done. However, both begin by clicking the Login Register button located at the top right corner of our homepage. The first is by requesting a username. So on the left-hand side here, you can see the purple hyperlink that says Request a Username. When you select that, you'll be presented with a brief registration form, and once you've completed that, we'll be able to review it and issue you with a username, and you can use an existing passphrase that you create as part of this process to then log into your account. The second is by using existing credentials. So for example, if you were to log in with an existing University of Edinburgh set of credentials, University of Edinburgh is on our Federation Access Management list. So you can enter your organisation in this box here, and then that would allow you to log in using your existing Edinburgh credentials. Now, if you're not sure whether or not your organisation is part of the Access Management Federation, in the help box on the first paragraph, the top purple hyperlink, if you click that, it will display a list of all organisations that are part of the UK Access Management Federation. And any organisations in this list will appear in the organisation selection when you go to enter it, and you won't need to request a new username. Now, we'll head back to the individual dataset record for study number 6614, Understanding Society and Harmonised BHPS, to look at how we can download the data. The purple Access Data button on the Catalogue record will take you to the screen you can see on this slide. Here, you'll be able to read about access criteria required for the dataset, and once you're ready to proceed, you can select the Add to Account button to add the data to your account. Once you've selected this option, you'll receive a green confirmation message, and from here, you can either select to go to your account from the green box, or select the My Account option at the top of the screen. Once you're in the My Account screen, you will see two boxes. The right-hand box is used by depositors, so doesn't apply to us at present. However, the left-hand box contains a list of all your projects, datasets awaiting assignment, and datasets awaiting action. We will be looking at the datasets awaiting assignment, and you will need to select the View Data button to begin the next step of the access process and begin assigning the data to a project space. On the next screen, you will see a list of any datasets currently awaiting assignment to a project, and will be able to select the data and the Add to Project button. This will refresh the page and ask you to choose to add the data to an existing project or create a new project. Once you have completed this, a project space will be created for you within your account. And what we refer to as an access request for the data will be registered against it. Essentially, this is like placing an order. Alternatively, if you have an existing project already, it will appear, the dataset or the access request will appear against your existing project. Now, the reason we request researchers to create projects on our portal is so that we can maintain not only an audit trail of the data access, but report to our depositors which user types are accessing their data and from what organizations and sometimes for what purpose. Your project can be found from the My Account view by selecting Data and then selecting the Projects button that loads underneath. The page will refresh, providing you with a list of each project you have, and their titles will be hyperlinked so you can explore further details such as general information like the abstract, or the Members tab if you're working on a group project and would like to add your colleagues to the space. You will also be able to load a Datasets tab. This is where you will find your access requests or orders. These will either be displayed as active and be able to download, or may show an amber request access status when further steps are required. For example, if you're requesting access to a special license dataset, you will be able to click the amber request access button to download the required application forms and details on how to return the forms to us. Once we have processed your application, only then would the status be updated to active. But as Study 6614 is an end-user license dataset, you can see here that you can select to download it straight away. Now, we will move on to our online analysis tools. A number of our key studies can be accessed online through our Nesstar service. And the great thing about Nesstar is basic analysis and visualizations can be performed without downloading the data or using statistical software. So if you don't yet have a particular software package in place and are looking to explore data that you would potentially like to use, this is a great option. Nesstar can be accessed via a few ways. The first is from the Get Data tab, which will allow you to select the Explore Online option. You'll see this in the top example on this slide. The second is via the Access Online button on the Access Data tab of selected datasets catalogue records. You'll see this on the right-hand side. The third is via the Nesstar link in the data series page. This example's at the bottom. You'll notice in this particular example that the Nesstar link isn't available for all data. This is because it only appears for data that are available online. This next slide shows our Nesstar portal. Located in the left-hand column is a full list of all data collections available via Nesstar. Using the left-hand column, you can expand menus to see datasets, metadata, and variable descriptions. A dataset abstract is also provided on Nesstar, providing information about the data. Tabs across the top help you to tabulate and analyze variables. If you're looking to use international macrodata, you may find our UKDS.stat tool beneficial. These are data provided by a number of organizations such as the World Bank, OECD, and the United Nations. Stat can be accessed by going to Get Data, Explore Online, and allows for easy creation of time series data displayed as heat maps and other visualizations. However, it is worth noting that not all the data is available to everyone. For example, the International Energy Agency data is only available for UK academics. If you are interested in using aggregate census data, then you can use InFuse for 2001 and 2011. On screen is an example of the InFuse interface where analysis can be conducted within your web browser. You can just pick your topics from the options shown on screen, and you can specify your parameters, and then you can produce tables. It's worth noting that whilst I have briefly touched on Nesstar, Stat, and InFuse tools in this webinar, they each have a collection of comprehensive guides and walkthroughs on their pages under the Explore Online section of our website. It's definitely worth looking at if you would like to know more about these tools. Finally, if you have any questions with regards to our service, data we hold, or how to access our data, we always advise researchers to view our frequently asked questions page, located under the Help tab at the very top of our web page. Or you can always contact us directly via our Get in Touch page, also located within the Help tab. Should you ever struggle to locate these pages, you can also email us at help@ukdataservice.ac.uk. So please do feel free to contact us if you do have any questions. Our details are back on screen now, and I hope you enjoyed this webinar.